Hey, how are you? It's good to have you along. Vicki St. James and Nick Wuertz. Nick Wuertz is the Director of Immigrant and Refugee Community Services at Lutheran Services in Iowa, LSI, a position he's held since 2006. A native of Waverly, Iowa, Nick was raised in a family with deep roots in immigration. His mother's family emigrated from Denmark when she was in kindergarten, while his father's side hails from German immigrants. These experiences shaped Nick's understanding and passion for helping others navigate the immigrant journey. A graduate of Wartburg College in Waverly, Nick's education provided a strong foundation for his work in serving refugee and immigrant communities across Iowa. As director, he's been instrumental in welcoming newcomers, advocating for their integration, and enhancing services that empower them to contribute their skills to their new communities. In addition to his role at LSI, Nick serves as the chair of the Refugee Alliance of Central Iowa and is on the board of Greater Des Moines Habitat for Humanity. Outside of work, Nick enjoys spending time with his family, exploring nature, and playing soccer and tennis. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, Vicki. Glad to be here.
Oh, my pleasure. Okay, so let's talk about LSI. When did you first know that you wanted to work for LSI?
Yeah, growing up in Waverly, I was familiar with LSI for the Bremwood Lutheran Children's Home. While I was actually in school at Wartburg, I mentored a young man while he was there. So that was kind of my first introduction. But little did I know that there were all these other things that LSI does around the state: foster care and adoption, disability services, and then the area that I became passionate about was our immigrant and refugee services area.
Oh, that's so beautiful. And you've had a lot of challenges as of late. Would you like to discuss those with our listening audience and viewers?
Yeah. There have been a lot of challenges. One of the things that we do and we participate in partnership with the U.S. government is the Refugee Resettlement Program. And the new administration has recently paused that program and also halted any services for families that are already here in the Cedar Valley, as well as our locations in Sioux City and in Des Moines. And so, we're really challenged and struggled in that, we had committed and had, agreements in place with the government to help welcome people here and with our local communities to help people get started. But now the funding and that are normally provided through those federal contracts are no longer available. So we've been really impressed and grateful that our local community members and Iowans have kind of stood with us and stood with these families as we maintain our commitment to helping them get to a good start here.
Oh, that's so beautiful. I understand that there's a fundraising effort afoot. And is there a way for our viewers to contribute?
Yes. Yep. Absolutely. Yeah. So here in the Cedar Valley, we are trying to raise $60,000 to help us care and help families, get into the workforce, kids into school, to the doctor, and all of that. And so there's a matching challenge that's been put out by the Community Foundation of Northeast Iowa and Marv and Helen Schumacher for $10,000. So a dollar for dollar match to inspire others to support LSI and support the families that just arrived here in the Cedar Valley.
Oh, that is so beautiful. I love that so much. So what do you like most about your role with LSI?
Yeah, there's a lot of things. We have an incredible team of people. We on our team, we have about 100 team members across the state, team members that speak 26 different languages. So get to work with such a great diversity of people and great diversity of Iowans many who've come here have their own, story of coming here, starting a new life and contributing to their community.
Yes.
But people who are passionate about their local community and helping newcomers use their skills and gifts in their local community. So blessed to be a part of an incredible team. And then just to be a part of someone's life who's coming here that the U.S. has invited here to help them get started, to get into the workforce and use the talents and backgrounds and skills that they have here. It's I don't know. I can't think of anything better.
Yes, I can't think of anything better either. My grandma and grandpa immigrated to the United States from Portugal when they were just 19 and 20. And I'll tell you what, when FDR passed away, my grandpa cried the whole day because FDR had made it possible with his New Deal to get them jobs and get them settled. And I'll tell you what, this country has a rich history in helping others from third world countries to get a life that is meaningful and that they can thrive in,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. Yep.
Yes,
And our actually
yes,
Iowa has such a unique history. Our governor, Republican Governor Robert Ray,
yes,
really led the way in the
right.
70s, welcoming newcomers here to Iowa. He responded to a call by Republican President Gerald Ford, who was looking for a place for Tie-Dom refugees to settle as a
Oh,
group so they didn't get spread out throughout the country. And so, Governor Ray led that charge with
yes,
Iowa. And so Iowa has this unique history and began doing this work 50 years ago, before it even existed at the federal level
yes.
formally. So we're fortunate to live in a state that has such a great humanitarian history.
Yes, and just a fun little side note. Robert Ray, the song, his jingle, will everyone here kindly step to the rear and let a leader lead the way?
That's awesome.
I
That
know,
is
I love it.
awesome.
But those little earworms, ladies and gentlemen, and I was all of 9, and I remember that.
Wow, that's awesome.
I know,
That
right?
is awesome.
Oh my gosh, fun. So tell me, do you have a personal mission statement? And if so, what is that, Nick?
That's a great question. Yeah, for me, it's all about belonging. I think helping people feel like they belong. So for our clients and the people that we're welcoming here, understanding who they are, their backgrounds, but also their skills and gifts and the talents that they bring with them, and letting them know they're part of a community that welcomes them. And we've seen
Yes.
that here in the Cedar Valley by through volunteers, community stakeholders who are a part of this work and help welcome people here and to help them
Yes.
get started. So my mission is really just to help foster communities, where
Yes.
people feel that.
Oh, that is so inspirational. So let's go back to childhood, if you would.
All right, we can do that.
All right. Do you have any fun childhood stories, Nick?
Fun stories. Probably some of my favorite memories are, Christmas time with my family, and my mom being a Danish immigrant, we had all kinds of Danish traditions that we had.
Oh,
Putting
yes.
Danish flags on the Christmas. We would light candles as well, which again is a little bit dangerous with a live Christmas tree. So we were each assigned, candles to kind of watch and make sure, they didn't burn down too well.
Wow.
So that was a lot of fun. And then we took a lot of just fun, family vacations. We drive out west, and I remember going to South Dakota and Colorado and having fun with my sister in the car. So just lots of great
Aw.
memories growing up.
Oh, that is so beautiful. So it's a tradition to put little flags on the tree as well. I
Y-
love that
Yeah.
idea.
Yep. Yeah.
Oh, that is so beautiful. The rich history of all of our cultures. So beautiful. So tell me, who's your biggest influence?
Yeah, I'd probably say my parents who are
Oh,
huge influencers on my dad is somebody who, would help anybody, was always willing and still is always willing to help anybody. It felt like we could never leave church because he was getting himself into helping, clean up or help somebody with something,
oh,
and helping a neighbor move something. He was always doing something to help others. My mom on the other side loved people, so we couldn't leave church with
oh.
her because she was always chatting and talking with folks. So, they both have had a profound impact on my life. And then I would just add, my faith, my Christian faith, and
Yes.
the example, and Jesus as who he was
Yes.
here on earth and who he is, um, you know, um, for forevermore. Obviously, it's just a huge influence on me, and I think just the fact that I've got a life, and it's a gift. It's
Yes.
not something that I earned for myself. Has been a big part of kind of why I went down this path, and why I'm in this work.
Oh, I love that. Any new career related endeavors?
Not yeah, none that I can think of immediately. It's pretty, just day to day. Things are pretty challenging and pretty
Of
tough, just given a
course.
lot of the changes that are happening. So,
Yes.
our team, things are changing kind of on the daily in terms of what we're doing and how we're trying to help people get settled and how we're navigating all the resource changes that are happening at the federal level. So it's been a little hard to think super long term. It's really kind of been a bit of a crisis in many ways for the past several weeks.
Oh, of course it has been. So what do you see as your biggest challenge right now?
Yeah, I think, one of the biggest challenges is that, again, there have been kind of a halting of federal resources that normally we are able to utilize to provide services to families. And all of those funds are appropriated by Congress. Congress has authorized those funds and those services. And so, we've entered agreements and with the U.S. Department of State, but those agreements are not being honored and they're not being reimbursed. And so that's our biggest challenge right now in terms of how do we help people pay rent in their first month or two while they're getting into the workforce? How do we pay our staff? Those are some of the most immediate challenges we're facing right now.
Of course. And that's why we have this fundraiser going. Again, where can they reach out to give?
Yeah, there's a page on our website. It's lsiowa.org/give, and it lists their options for online giving, for mailing in a check, as well as contact information for members of our team if you want to talk with somebody further about making a certain type of gift or a gift in honor of someone. So happy to connect with people there.
Oh, that is so beautiful. So when did you first know that you wanted to work with LSI?
Yeah, I kind of I knew out of college I wanted to work in a social service or kind of urban ministry type of organization. And I just kind of happened upon LSI to some degree. I knew of LSI, but I didn't know as much about its immigrant refugee services. I tie some of that back to my time at Wartburg, where I played soccer and tennis and just loved the conversations I had with my international teammates and just inspired by hearing, about what life was like on the other side of the globe. So just a fascination for other cultures, other countries. And so, applied. I was hired, fortunately, and I just fell in love with the families that I got to meet and help, get to know the community, helping them learn how to use the bus, begin to learn the language, and find employment, and get their families started. So just really, fell in love with the people.
Oh, that is so beautiful. I love that so much. I think I told you in our earlier conversation that I taught at Wartburg, and I loved the fabric of the community. And the difference between teaching at UNI and Wartburg is as follows. You walk on the campus at Wartburg and your students see you, they come running at you and they hug you. You don't get that at UNI. I'm sorry. I love UNI too, trust me. But it's just a family.
Yeah.
It's a family, and these kids are on full ride scholarships based in a lot of times in their athletic prowess, which is so beautiful. And they're given a chance here. And I love teaching them. And they stay in touch with you. Like I've got students I had in 2015, 10 years ago, still from Wartburg, reaching out. How are you, Professor? Oh,
that's awesome.
I know. I love
great.
it so much. It's beautiful. So let's change topics a little bit. Do you have any pet peeves? And if so, what are they?
This was a funny question.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm a bit of a organization freak, to some degree. So, I like a well-maintained and organized refrigerator, so and it, there are certain members of my family that,
Yes, of course.
if there's an open spot, they'll plug it with whatever it is, despite my efforts to kind of keep things organized.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
I love it. Talking about refrigerators. So I just got back from my trip to see my daughter in Kentucky, and her refrigerator is so beautiful. She has everything in order, not like mine.
Sounds
I
wonderful.
really took inspiration from my daughter. Tonight, I'm going to go home and rearrange my refrigerator. So I get what you're saying.
Yep.
It's important.
It is.
And my daughter knows it's important. I love that. So tell me, do you have a bucket list? And if so, what is on that list?
I would love to go to New Zealand someday. I love hiking and the mountains, and
Yes.
obviously I've seen pictures and movies filmed there, and just looks like a beautiful, beautiful place. So would love to go there. I'd also love to go to some of the countries of, people that we've helped welcome over the years.
Right.
They've obviously had a chance to see the country, our country, and,
Yes.
and would love to be able to go and experience and see what life is like in the countries that they're coming from.
Right, exactly. Okay, so any spring plans for you?
Well, I'm really thankful that it has started to warm up here a little bit. So we don't have any plans yet for spring break, but we've talked about maybe driving south somewhere to get a little bit warmer. So
Yes.
looking forward to some time off with the family over spring break.
Oh, that's beautiful. And you have 2 children.
Yep. Yeah.
Let's talk about them.
Yeah. So I have a 9th grade son. Who's plays basketball and soccer. He's getting ready for the soccer season coming up. Yep. And then a 7th grade daughter who does volleyball and is going to try track this spring.
Oh, that's so exciting. I love it. So how do they do on road trips? Pretty good?
No, I mean, good. They have their moments for sure.
Yeah. Well, this is a little game that I did. Kids are always on their phones these days. We didn't have phones back then. They didn't have them. Mm-hmm. So I had them we played bingo, car bingo, and they would look for landmarks. They would look for other, like animals, whatever. And then I had a board for them. They'd cross it off. And then the first one to get bingo got a prize at the next convenience store.
Hey, that's a great idea. That is great.
You might want to try that one. Yeah. It worked really well.
I like that.
Okay, so again, any closing thoughts? You've got a lot going on right now at LSI. Give us a little bit more, a bird's eye view on what's going on and closing thoughts.
Yeah. I mean, I think one of the things that I think we've tried to stress over the last couple of weeks, just because there's so much, in the headlines and the news around immigration in general, a lot of people don't know what the U.S. Refugee Resettlement Program is. Yes. It's a humanitarian program, and it's a legal pathway for people to come here. People have gone through years of vetting and screening. They've determined they can't go back home. They can't safely stay where they're at. So it's I think one of the things I wanted to lift up, just with everything, all the headlines around immigration and policy changes is, I think a lot of Americans may not be familiar with the U.S. Refugee Resettlement Program. It is a humanitarian program that the U.S. Offers and has offered here in the state of Iowa for 50 years. And it's a legal pathway for people to come here who can't go home and they can't safely stay where they're at. And so they're identified and vetted by the Department of State and other federal agencies. And then through local organizations and local communities, we enter into a partnership to help welcome those families to the community. And so, it is one of our country's most highly vetted and screened immigration processes. And again, as I said earlier, we have a proud history of doing that here in Iowa. And the returns, as I said, it's a humanitarian program. And so the reason is because people need it, and it's really kind of a last chance. But we continue to see, year after year that our investment in people from a humanitarian aspect yields all kinds of economic benefits in, people entering the workforce, people starting jobs. And
So there's an economic gain.
Yeah. Yep. There's actually a great study came out last year between 2005 and 2019. Refugees and those who were approved for asylum contributed $123 billion net. That's net to our federal, state, and local economy. So, people are here, and they are coming from all kinds of different places around the world. Some are coming from Afghanistan, and they've been persecuted and they had to leave because of their work with our military there. And so those are the folks that we help welcome, and are providing an opportunity for them here because they've sacrificed themselves on behalf of the United States abroad.
Okay, so any closing thoughts?
Yeah, I would, despite the challenges we've had, Vicki, I think one of the things that has been really encouraging for me, for us as an organization, is just to see Iowans really rally behind LSI and behind our clients and the families that we've welcomed here, and just to see that, despite federal changes and policies that are having a negative impact, Iowans still believe in this work and believe in the humanity of people and the
Right.
commitments we've made to people.
Right.
So that's been a real bright light over the last several weeks. And so, just want to thank folks for continuing to shine a bright light in what can be sometimes some very challenging times.
Exactly. Nick, thank you so much for being my guest, and thank you for all you do. God bless you.
Thanks, Vicki. I really
Yes.
appreciate it.
All right. Have a great day, everyone.